First and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. I'm going to give a brief update on our 2321 Leslie Court homicide investigation that we are working at this time. I'm going to be very brief. I'm going to be very vague. It's still an ongoing investigation, and some information that we do give are not able to give. So please bear with us. Please be patient with us. We'll try to get out as much information as we can, as we get it, that we'll be allowed to release, or able to release. Again, I just want to thank each and every one of you and thank the media for getting out, pushing out the information for us. Our whole focus right now is to get Lily and Lulu back home safely. Our detectives, the agents from both our local law enforcement, our state law enforcement, our federal law enforcement have been working very hard around the clock to locate these two girls, these two sisters. Your help in getting out the information has led to a number of tips. Our tips have taken us to Colorado, and as of December 30th, based on the tip that we received, we were able to obtain video surveillance from a local business in Trinidad, and we were able to positively identify Terry Allen Miles in that business. I am not going to give the name of that business at this time, but I will tell you right now, our focus is searching for the three of them in Colorado. The girls were not with him in the business. It does not say they weren't in the car or anywhere else at that time, but right now, as a result, from the video, the girls were not with him at that time. We continually receive tips from Colorado that are sightings of the three in Colorado. The local law enforcement and federal agents, once we receive those tips, go out and investigate those tips, and we'll continually do that throughout this process. What I encourage our community to do is continue to look at gas stations, convenience stores, fast food restaurants, and truck stops. If they see anything suspicious at that time, if they see a vehicle matching the vehicle that we have put out, which is a gray 2017 Hyundai Accent with Texas plate JGH 9845, to please call 911, or they can call our tip line with any tips at 512-218-5515. Again, our primary focus is to bring 7-year-old Lulu and 14-year-old Lily home safely. I wish I could give you a lot more information, but we are working very hard, very diligent to bring them home safely. At this time, I'm going to open up for questions. Please be patient with me. There might be some I can't answer for you, so any questions that you have?
Other than that one sighting where you said you wouldn't specify the name of the store, you said there have been other tips. What types of locations were those tips coming from? Were they other convenience stores, truck stops, that type of thing, or what?
So the question is, what other tips are receiving and where at and what locations? And I will tell you this, we are receiving a number of tips in southern Colorado. We have not located them, obviously, but the tips seem to be good tips based on the type of tips that are coming in at different locations, and we'll continue to send officers and federal agents out on those tips to see if those tips do pan out.
Considering his criminal history, what are your main concerns about the girls?
Well, based on his criminal history, I mean, it obviously is a huge concern, and that's why our focus is to bring those girls home safely. There was another question over here.
You mentioned you were getting the autopsy results today on the mother. Can you talk about that at all?
I have not read the autopsy results, but we are investigating a homicide at this point, and that's really all the information that I have.
Since the Amber Alert was canceled for Texas, how closely are you still working with police in Colorado?
We're working very closely with all agencies throughout the entire country. Although a heavy presence, a heavy focus is on Colorado, it's still open throughout the United States looking for these two young ladies, and for Mr. Terry Miles. It's not the fact that the Amber Alert was canceled, it's the fact we're still sending out stuff social media. We appreciate all the information that you guys are pushing out as well. We're getting all the information out there. You know, like I said earlier, we are looking for a 2017 Hyundai. It doesn't say that he has not changed the license plate on that vehicle or altered that vehicle in any way. Here we do have a picture provided of Terry Miles that at that business that he was in. We will send that out electronically to all media as well.
Can you say how Terry Miles met Tanya Bates?
I don't know how they met.
The Amber Alert, is it only in effect for Colorado then, or is it for other states outside of Texas?
I'm not going to focus on the Amber Alerts. I can tell you this: each state has their own criteria to issue Amber Alerts, and so you have to ask each state how they do that.
Have the tips included sightings of the girls?
Yes, ma'am. The question was, has the tips included the sighting of the girls? Yes, they have. Whether they're credible or not, that's what we're tracking down.
And did they appear to be just like they were any altered physical appearance?
Like I said, there were sightings of them. There were tips that they seen Terry Miles and the girls. So law enforcement officers and agents are tracking down all these tips to see if how credible they are. As you can imagine, how many tips that we are receiving as a result of this case across the country. We've had people from psychics to just people who just are inquiring about this case calling us. And so each and every one of those we take serious. And like I said, our goal is to bring these two sisters home and bring them home safely.
Is there any other different descriptions towards the girls as far as what they looked like before the incident versus now in the surveillance video photos?
Thank you. Any other descriptions of the girls as compared to when we first released and to now? No, there's not.
Are those two pictures the ones that you took from Colorado?
Those are the two pictures out of the business in Colorado, in Trinidad, correct.
So, since those are 5 days old, what are your what are your fears there?
What are my fears in regards to?
Well, just how late these pictures are finally coming forward.
You got to rephrase that. I'm sure. I apologize. I don't understand what your question is.
I apologize. My fault.
Here's the thing. Any information that we receive, I think, is important information that we receive, and that's why we want to get it out. This is the latest photo based on a tip that we received, so we want that out in the public. Somebody out there is going to recognize Terry Miles. Somebody out there is going to recognize our two sisters that are out there, Lily and Lulu. We want somebody to call us. We want to bring those girls home safely. Any information, no matter how long it has been, we're going to get that information out as best we can when we can.
What are the obstacles police face in finding him, considering they think he's driving the same car?
So what are the obstacles that we feel that we're facing? There's a lot of obstacles. Time, distance, people change their appearance. I mean, there's a lot of things that we come across that is very difficult for us. But I'll tell you, we have an amazing group of officers, amazing group of detectives, an amazing group of federal and state partners that are working very hard 24 hours a day on this.
Chief, is that the only surveillance video that you know of where Miles has been spotted or the girls?
In Colorado, that is the only one that where the focus is right now. Yes, that's the only one we have in Colorado. Like I said, we still have agents and law enforcement out there tracking down other tips that we have received out in Colorado. Yes.
Do you have an idea where he may be headed to?
No, ma'am, I do not. So the question was, do I have any idea where he would be headed to? And that question is, no, I do not know where he would be headed to. We know that he was in Colorado, southern part of Colorado, as late as the December 30th. We know we've received other tips in that same area, and so we have, like I said, a heavy presence down in southern Colorado. Does not mean that he's still focused or still down in Colorado, but we're going to have a lot of presence down there, and again, hopefully we bring these two girls home safely.
Can you tell us how recent those tips are? I mean, just because the photos are from the 30th of December?
We've received tips all the way through today.
For Colorado area?
For all over the place, yes, including Colorado. Yes, ma'am.
Do you think Terry Miles poses a threat to the public, and how would you describe his criminal history?
He's a person of concern. Obviously, you know his criminal history. You research his criminal history, and Terry Miles is with those two girls is a concern that, and the biggest part of it is we want to have those two girls brought home safely.
Chief, is Miles now officially a suspect in this homicide, abduction, or is he still considered a person of interest?
So is Mr. Miles considered a suspect or considered a person of interest still in the homicide of Tanya Bates? And at this point, he's still considered a person of interest. I appreciate your guys' time on this, and we will be sending out the photo electronically. Thanks again.